Hello and good morning. This is Liz coming to you from the Weird Owls Vintage and Craft Studio in Winchester, Kentucky. I'm going to do a video today about junk journaling, specifically about the supplies I use in my junk journals. I'm not a digital person. I don't do digitals in my junk journals. And I know that lots of people do, and you all make really incredible books. They're beautiful. It's just not my thing. I genuinely try to use junk or, recycle materials. That's how I started out. The whole thing for me, the appeal to me starting out was using actual junk and saving it from the landfills. And I have used a plethora of different kinds of junk. But today I'm going to focus on one of my main sources for my materials, and one of my main suppliers for materials is the Goodwills. We go to Goodwills frequently, being that we own a vintage shop. We're in the Goodwills a lot anyway. And I find all kinds of great material for the junk journals in the Goodwills. And I'm not going to go over, and I'm not going to show you things today that you would never be able to find yourself at the Goodwill. I'm going to show you what you can find at any Goodwill, any day of the week. Things that are common that I find all the time. First thing are the books themselves for the junk journal books. I upcycle old books, and I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem tearing apart a book for a junk journal. Somebody already discarded that book and just threw it in a bin at a Goodwill, and the Goodwill charges, here in Kentucky at our local Goodwills, they're $1. Books are all now $1. Whether they're paperback or hardback, they're all $1. And I can buy a lot of books in a day. When it's one of my favorite things. I can go out and if I only have $10, I can get 10 books. So I love buying books. So I'm going to go over a few of the books that I bought just yesterday. I'm going over just kind of, actually the last 2 days were my husband's days off. He's off on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So those are our days that we go out together, our date days. So I'm going to go over what I bought the last 2 days for my junk journals, starting with the books. So I'm going to start with the biggest book here in front of me. This is the Elliot Porter, Birds of North America. Big book. Big, huge book. This is probably never going to be a base for one of my journals unless I decide to do another big, huge lap book. But anyway, bird books. I love bird books because I can use the images inside. I've got a glare here. I'm sorry. This is probably not the best angle. But anyway, there's just all kinds of great images that can be used. If I'm going to do a nature book or a book about birds specifically or whatever, just lots of great images that can be used. So that's one big book of birds. Here we go. This is a vintage childcraft book about dinosaurs, and I couldn't resist. I have grandbabies. My oldest is Noah. He is 3.5 years old, and I call him my little dinosaur now. He loves dinosaurs. So anyway, anytime I see a dinosaur book or anything about dinosaurs or little dinosaur toys, I gotta buy them for my grandbaby. And then Roman and Emmy are just a little bit over 1 year old, the twins. So eventually they'll be into dinosaurs too. Mimi will see to it. Anyway, so great book about dinosaurs, a vintage childcraft book about dinosaurs. Love that. Okay. Then I have this Worlds of Wonder. I don't even remember what was in here. Oh, it's just like a vintage children's school book, elementary school book. I just like the images in here. I'll be able to use these. I love any kind of vintage images for my books. Okay, there's that. I should probably move faster because there's a lot here. I bought a lot the last couple of days. Here's just this really old book called Down the Road. And look how beautiful this is. I love old books. And I bought it's also an old like school book, it looks like, from way back. This is very beat up, which if you're a junk journaler, hey, we don't care, do we? This is like Dick and Jane type books and stuff, or stories and such, and this old, just so cute, very beat up, very well loved book, and right up my alley. Now we have this Emile and the Die Detective. Oh, I remember. I bought this one because it's a foreign language book, I believe German. It looks very German and it has some like illustrations, and if you can see I just thought that'll be kind of neat to have just all this script, you know, or not script but text in German. Pretty cool. And I like the cover also. I love old books for the covers of my journals. Okay, so I'll take a moment here to talk about just how fabulous my husband is. Y'all, he's the best, hottest guy on this planet. You know why? Because he buys me craft supplies. And not just craft supplies, special things that he knows I just can't live without. Well, he also knows my favorite book in this whole world is Alice in Wonderland, of course, like so many other people's favorites. But I love Alice. I'm quite obsessed, actually, with Alice. And look at what my husband found when I did not go into one of the Goodwills with him. I stayed out in the car to play on my phone and catch up with some messages with people. Anyway, I would have missed it, except for I have the best husband in the world, and he found me this. Look at this. It's Alice in Wonderland. It is a vintage copy from like way back 1946. Alice in Wonderland book. And look at this gorgeous book. Oh, and before you say anything, I'm not tearing this up. This book is not ever going to be tore up, not by me. This is my Alice. Anyway, so just a moment. I mean, it'd be glorious. Look at this gorgeous cover, but I am not tearing this up. And it has all the, you know, all the gorgeous graphics in here. The Alice, there's the Mad Hatter. A very special husband. Okay. Here's another book he found me, though. He found me Alice, but he also found me this. A Golden Guide to Spiders. Spider book from my husband. But he knows what to look like and what to look for junk journals. I mean, he knows. I can use all this stuff in my books He knows it. Am I going to do a junk journal about spiders? I don't know. I don't know about that one. If I do, it's very far down on the list. I have a whole big list of things I want to do journals about, and I don't know if spiders are ever going to make the cut. But it's still a really fabulous book, I have to say. Anyway, then I found this, and it's the Penguin Books, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and it's just a little paperback. Of course, it is nothing like the find that he got me. It's a tiny little paperback, but like I said, it's Goodwill and it's $1, and it's just extra graphics, if anything, and extra text, if anything, of Alice. So, of course, I got it. Had to get it. Pause for a children's book that I also pick up children's books for the babies, so that Mimi and Poppy will always have a big library full of books for the babies. And this one, if you ever want to bring an alligator to school, don't. I want you to know I had to read the whole book to my husband in the Goodwill yesterday. As he browsed the books, I read the book to him. It was so cute. Anyway, I have a thing for children's, especially funny. I like funny children's books. It's just me. So that. And one thing I've been finding a whole lot every time in every Goodwill, I never ever go in a Goodwill and don't find it, are adult coloring books for $1. And half the time they've never even been used at all. They haven't been colored in at all. Sometimes 1 or 2 pages, and they're $1. And so they're beautiful. Beautiful books. And so I pick them up, and I've started adding them to my junk journals. You know, we make lots of little pockets and stuff in our junk journals. And I have a whole stack of them just for the last 2 days. A whole stack of these. $1 each. And so, and I started that. I was in the car scribbling with my colored pencils. So, anyway, look at all these beautiful butterflies. So, for lots of pockets and such in the junk journal, sometimes even I'll just rip out a sheet of butterfly or whatever, or something from an adult coloring book, and I'll fold it up and I'll tuck it in the little pockets of the junk journals that I make for people, because I'm like, how fun is that? You know, the pockets don't have to be empty. They can dig in and find a little piece of paper they can color on, you know. So lots of adult coloring books. I mean, this is just last 2 days. And, you know, oh, I noticed this. Look, somebody already colored an owl in this one. And, you know, we are weird owls after all. And look, they did a great job. I think I will keep this owl for myself. I might put it in a frame and hang it up in the shop here, or at least back here in the studio for me. So, hey, when they do color in there, and especially if they do a really nice job, bonus art for me, right? It's exciting. Here they started a bird here. So I don't mind. I'll buy them even when they're used by somebody, because there's still dozens of pages in here that haven't been touched. So there we go. Oh, here's one from yesterday. Art and coloring of the Disney villains. This is pretty cool. I mean, honest. So, the Disney villains. And, you know, some of it was already colored. There's the Cheshire Cat. Cheshire Cat. Alice. I don't know. I guess he's a villain. Whatever. I love him. But I love the villains anyway. Here's Mowgli and who's this snake? Ka? A snake? A Mowgli? And there's all kinds of fun stuff in here. Ew, okay. Here's Ursula and Hades. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I mean, we don't have time, but, you know, oh, somebody cut that page. Oh, some fun art. Somebody already did some of it. That's okay. There's still plenty in here for $1. I mean, what was this? Like, this was $15.99 new. So somebody colored a couple pages. That's okay. I paid $1. Okay. Next is Spectacular Patterns. I mean, perfect, you know. Like I said, if you don't want to color it, that's fine. Pull it out, tuck it into a pocket for one of your junk journals that you're giving away or that you're selling. I mean, they're just incredible. Last one in the adult coloring book category. This one even came with markers. A little kit, a llama coloring book, llamas and more. So it came with some markers. I don't know if they're any good, but that's okay. I was really just concerned with the coloring pages. Look how pretty. Llamas, and llamas are really, really popular right now. So, oh, there's a llama in Mexico, and, or I assume Mexico, maybe not, maybe Peru or something, I don't know. Anyway, llamas and flowers and just all kinds of, they're kind of falling out here, so I'm gonna put this back. That was pretty cool. So that was all the adult coloring books from just the last 2 days. And like I said, you will find these in every Goodwill around here. Like every day, every time I go, I find them. There's that. And then kind of in the book category, but they had this marked up to a whole $1.99. I paid $2 for this. Look how beautiful this is, you all. You know, if it is tacky 70s, it's my thing. Totally my thing. My husband's too. See, isn't he great? We both agree. We both agree that all the best things came out of the 70s, us included. So this is a vintage album, and you know, the pages in here are yellowed and worn, and you should never ever put photographs under these magnetic sheets. They're not good for photos, as we all know now. But I didn't buy it for these. I bought it just for the cover. I'm gonna use the cover in something. Oh, there's that. So, this time, while we were out, y'all, we found hundreds and hundreds of rubber stamps. My husband found them in big bags, and this Goodwill just didn't know what to do with them, and they had bags, giant vacuum-sized bags full of wood-mounted rubber stamps. They marked them $10.99 a bag. And again, I wasn't with my husband when he found them, but good man that he was, he knew, and he grabbed them all. We got bags and bags and bags of rubber stamps to go through. I haven't even gone through them yet, and 99% of them have never been used. They're brand new. They're brand new, but they're vintage from like the 90s and the early 2000s. Old stamps. I mean, I'm still like kind of delirious over it. I still just can't even believe what he found. And maybe next time I do a video, I'll go over the stamps that he found. I chose to keep a few of them. The rest of them we're going to sell in the eBay store because I just don't need any more rubber stamps. I mean, oh my God, if you knew how many rubber stamps I have, I don't need any more. But I did choose to keep a few because I've gotten really into the house mouse design stamps again. I had a whole bunch of them and then I got rid of them. I don't know why. And now I'm like trying to recollect the house mouse design stamps because they're just cute. So the ones that were in this lot, I chose to keep. So here are the house mouse stamps I'm going to keep. One, this little guy's holding a 4-leaf clover. Can you see that? Gosh, it's hard to know where to put the camera. These little guys are in a dish of Valentine candy hearts, and he's got a little candy heart in his mouth that says, "Be mine." Look how cute that is. Oh my gosh. And like I said, these have not even been used. None of these stamps were used. I don't know where they came from. Like, who just dumped off hundreds of rubber stamps that have never been used to a Goodwill? But someone did. Here's another Valentine one. These little guys. Oh, this little guy I love so much. They're in a little container of paper clips, and he made a little paper clip heart. How cute is that? I love it. And then another Valentine one. He's throwing glitter hearts down on his little friend. So I kept these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 rubber stamps I'm keeping for myself from House of Mouse, or Mouse House, or whatever they are. What do they call them? House Mouse Designs. I'm saying it right. Okay. Anyway, so rubber stamps. And you usually can find some rubber stamps. That's not like so unusual, but the big lot that he found, that is unusual to find that many of them. I mean, that was like a crazy score right there. So on to like some ephemera type stuff. I can usually always find vintage, or not necessarily vintage, but playing cards. I find them all the time, but these are great because these are vintage. Look at these lions. This set of playing cards here, and they're just great. I collect them. I have all kinds of sets of vintage playing cards, and sometimes I have to open them in the Goodwill because sometimes they are not what the box shows, but these really are the lions. So that was a fun find, and I do use vintage playing cards in my junk journals. I make ephemera and stuff. Here's the ones that I use very often. Since I am Weird Owls, I use this set very often. Aren't they great? So those, and then this time I also found, these are playing cards too. They're vintage playing cards that are children's games. Look in the toy section for ephemera for your junk journals. Not just these, but just old games sometimes have, incomplete games that really aren't good for using as a game anymore. But they have great pieces in the games that can be used in your junk journals for ephemera. So these were fun. Love them, love them. The vintage playing cards. And then that brings me to storage options for in your studio. I'm not going to pan through the whole studio. You can watch my other video that shows the studio. But I have baskets are a new thing lately that I've been using a lot of, are baskets. Like, for instance, sitting right here in front of me is a basket that just holds a lot of my latest purchases in clear cling stamps and some, and what do you call them? Stencils and stamps here. And this is, you know, a basket that just sits right in front of me right here. So yesterday and the day before, my basket collection find, here they are. Here are the baskets I found the last 2 days, and I don't necessarily have to keep all of these for me. I have baskets everywhere, but we do have a vintage shop, and a lot of times I have little things I put out in the shop that I just like to collect together in a basket. I love baskets. They're great for everything in your house. Look how cute this basket is, you all. This was 59 cents. 59 cents. Look how cute it is. And it's great. And then I paid up for this one. I paid a whole $1 for this, and look how tiny it is compared to the one for 59 cents. But it's so cute. I got this just because it was cute, and I don't know, can sit on my desk and hold little bits of ephemera while I'm working, and it's perfect. This one I got because it's exactly like the one I just showed you, full of stamps and stencils. It's exactly the same basket, almost exactly. So it's perfect. This was $1.59. And this one I just thought was cute. It would also be perfect for all kinds of supplies and stuff, and I like the color of this one a whole lot. This one was 99 cents. Isn't that great? And then I bought another big one. And I have several big ones in the studio, some that hold ribbons, some that hold all kinds of ribbons, loose ribbons and stuff that just get kind of out of control. I have one that holds fabric, fabric squares, folded up fabric and stuff. I've got some that hold vintage greeting cards. That's another thing, vintage greeting cards. They're getting a little harder to find, but you still can find some. But anyway, I didn't find any the last couple of days, but I do find those sometimes. Be on the lookout for vintage greeting cards also. Anyway, so baskets, they're great. And then when we're talking about storage and things for in your studio and for organizing your supplies, I'm gonna say also one thing I buy often, which I did not buy the last couple days. I don't need any more. I have, oh my gosh, hundreds of them. So I don't need any more. But vintage tins. I love vintage tins. And they hold so many different things. This one's full of flowers. I'll just show you a couple of them. And I have them on a cart right beside me. This one's very heavy. Look how beautiful this one is, though. Oops. I put a little. I should label all of them because I end up forgetting what I put in these tins, and I have to open every tin looking for my supplies. This one's full of, it says metal bits, and it is all kinds of junk journal goodness of metal. That's why this is so heavy. But anyway, so I have vintage tins all over the place, full of supplies too. And I'm sorry, I was only going to show you the things I bought the last couple of days, and that's not the things I bought the last couple of days. I didn't buy any tins, but I have tins everywhere. While we're talking about tins, though, I'm going to go over one of my favorite things that I've ever done with a tin is this. these are stamps. These are alphabet stamps that I had in sets. And so I bought several sets of this same exact style, and I put them in here so that I can easily, you know, see what they are. They're these stamps. Oh, these stamps that you can click together and make your whole word. That's not a word. But you can click them together and make a whole word. And they look kind of like vintage typewriter font. And then you can stamp them all down. And anyway, I use these so much. This is one of the things I use the most of as a card maker. You know, I'm a junk journaler is what we're talking about today, but I'm also a card maker and a scrapbooker and, you know, anything paper crafting. I used to own a scrapbook store many years ago. So anyway, so vintage tins. And I love the eclectic look of my studio. I would not trade my studio for almost any that I've ever seen. I like eclectic. I like everything to be different and fun. You won't find this girl shopping at IKEA for my studio. I'm sorry. You know, no offense to anyone that likes that look and wants that clean, streamlined, perfect look of everything is white. That ain't me. Not this chick. I'm not into the clean and perfect look. Oh my gosh. Clean and studio, how does that even go together in a sentence anyway? My place is always a mess. And so therefore, when we're talking about also Goodwill and what you can find at Goodwill for your studio, like vintage planters. This one holds a bunch of markers. Vintage planters. Well, this one was at Goodwill too. This one wasn't vintage, but another. Look at him, isn't he cute? You know, everything in my studio is different and eclectic, and found probably at a Goodwill or a yard sale, flea market, something. And that's how I hold everything with these. So anyway, that's another thing. If you go and you want your studio to look like everything that you bought was at IKEA, you're going to spend a lot more money than I did. And I just don't think it's going to look as good. I'm sorry. I know, that's snotty, that's mean. I'm sorry. It's not my look. I like everything to be different and fun. I like everything to have a story. I like everything to have history and a conversation piece, you know? I like, I don't know. It's fun to look around and remember where we were on that day, where we were shopping, what Goodwill was that, or what flea market was that, or, you know, I remember, it's so funny, I can't remember 2 days ago what I had for lunch, but I can remember where I bought this little pot 5 years ago. Like, silliness like that. That's, you know. Anyway, I went on and on, a little extra, but anyway, just kind of scanning. I mean, there's stuff everywhere. I could keep going on and on, but I was trying to focus on just the stuff I bought the last couple of days. And anyway, you don't have to spend a fortune on your junk journals. Kudos to those who that buy the vintage, or the digi-kits and stuff, and they make beautiful, gorgeous books. And I am jealous of some of those books. I'm gonna say I would like to buy some of them. Just, you know, you did it, and I'd like to buy the book you made, because I don't have time to make every book. But it's just, digital's not really my thing. Maybe someday I'll get into it a little bit. But for the time being, I have so many books, so many vintage books, and so many vintage images that it would take me 10 lifetimes to get through it all and to use it all. I don't know who's going to inherit all of this someday when I'm gone. My daughter doesn't want it. It freaks her out. She's going to have to deal with it. Anyway, I won't keep going blabbering on and on and on. I think that's it for today, and I'm going to work on trying to do more of these videos. I know that I keep saying I'm going to get into it, and I'm going to start doing these things, and then I just don't. But I'm going to try. So anyway, on to the next thing today, and I hope you all have a fabulous day. Thanks for watching. Bye.